Hello everyone! Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of reading, we're going to do a little math lesson. So what I would like you to do is, if you could take the time to maybe pause the video for a couple minutes while you get settled, but I would like you to take out, if you would like to follow along, or you can just do it mentally and work with me, take out a piece of paper and you can title it Long Division, and we're going to solve it the traditional way. So I'll give you a couple seconds to gather yourself, or, like I said, you're more than welcome to just follow along and listen to me. But I will pause throughout the video to give you an opportunity to think on your own, so we can get those, we can practice those skills of long division. So you can take the time to pause it now while I get set up. So I would like our first problem to start out over here. We can label number 1. So the first thing that I would like to divide is 936 divided by 4. It's been so long since we've done this. I wonder what my first step would be. Oh, I know. I take my highest place value, which in this case is hundreds, and I see what digit I have there. I see 9 in my hundreds place value. So the first question that I ask myself is, how many times does 4 go into 9? 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Well, I know that it can't go over, because then we would have to go to another place value. So I'm going to go with 2 times 4 equals 8. So 4 goes into 9 twice. 4 times 2 is 8. And now what do I do? Does anyone remember? Give you a second to think on your own before I move on. I subtract it. 9 minus 8 is 1. Now, here's another step that you might have forgotten, so it's a good chance to go over it. We see that 1 is smaller than 4, so 4 cannot go into 1 evenly. So there's a step that I have to take. I bring down my next digit, which in this case is 3. So I bring down my 3. So now I can ask myself, how many times does 4 go into 13? Which in fact we can do, not evenly, but we can do it. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. 12 is close to 13, let's do that. 4 times 3 is 12. Let's go back and see what steps we did next. We wrote down how many times it goes in. What do? We subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Once again, doesn't go in evenly, so it looks like I'm missing a step. I have to bring down my next place value. And I love to draw these arrows because it really helps me organize and keep track of the place values when you deal with really long numbers like we're going to in a little bit. It makes it easier. It's like a little checklist for yourself. So now I know to bring down my next place value, which is a 6. So now I have 16 instead of just 1. 4 into 16. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. That goes in perfectly. So I bring my 4 above the 6 because that's now the place value that I'm working at. 4 times 4 is 16. So I subtract. 6 minus 6, 0. 1 minus 1, 0. We're done. We have nothing else to bring down. We have no remainders. So we know that 4 goes into 936 234 times. And does anyone remember the easiest way to check that? I'll give you a second to think. There's an easy way to check, to kind of reverse it. I'll give you a hint. It's the inverse operation of division. you can multiply. You can multiply 4 times 234 to get 936. Let's try a different problem over here. Number 2. This is a much bigger number, but that's okay. We can handle it. We persevere, right? So we're going to take 7,000, yes, I said 1,000, 7,536, all divided by 6. So, does anyone remember that first question I asked myself? It's the very first thing. I go to my biggest place value, 7, which is in the thousands. I see how many times 6 goes into 7. I know that it goes in once. So I'm going to write a 1 directly above the 7 to keep my place value in line. 6 times 1 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. What's my next step? I bring down my next place value. How many times does 6 go into 15? 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. Uh-oh, that's too big. We have to go back down to 6 times 2 is 12. So where am I going to put my 2? I'm going to put it directly above the 5 because that is now the place value that I'm working in. 6 times 2 is 12. 5 minus 2, 3. 1 minus 1, 0. And now, you guessed it, bring down my next place value. It's like a little check mark to show that I'm going the right way. Bring down my 3. How many times does 6 go into 33? Well, I know that 6 times 5 is 30, so maybe we should try that. 6 times 5, going right above the place value that it belongs in. 6 times 5 is 30. So now I subtract 30. 3 minus 0 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Looks like this is our last one to bring down. We're bringing down a 6. How many times does 6 go into 36? 6 times. And I'm going to write that 6 right above. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 minus 6 is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. We have no numbers left over. We have nothing else to bring down. We're done. And what's that way that I can check it? I multiply. I multiply 6 times 1,256, and I get 7,536. Let's move on to another problem. This one over here, number 3. This one is, I'll give you a second to write it down. 7,518, all divided by 4. I'll give you a second to write that down. 7,518 divided by 4. All right, first question I ask myself, where do I start? In the biggest place value, which in this case is the thousands. How many times does 4 go into 7? Just once, because if I did 4 times 2, that's 8, and that goes over our number, so we can't do that. So we're going to start with 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. And now I bring down. How many times does 4 go into 35? Well, I know that 4 times 7 is 28, but I know that 4 times 8 is 32, and that's a lot closer than 7. So let's do 4 times 8, keeping it in my place value. 4 times 8 is 32. I subtract 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Done with that. Time to bring down my next place value, which is 1. Let's see, 4 into 31. Well, I just did 4 times 8 is 32, but that's over 31, so maybe I could try 7 for this one. 4 times 7 is 28. Right above my place value. 4 times 7 is 28. And I know that 1 minus 8, I have to regroup. 11 minus 8 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. Oh my goodness, this is a long one. Need to bring down another place value. Bring down our 8 all the way down. Last one, 38. How many times does 4 go into 38? That's a tricky one. 4 into 38. Well, we already said that 4 times 8 is 32. So 4 times 9 is 36. And I think that's the closest we're going to get. Because if we do 4 times 10, that's 40, and that goes over our digits. So 4 times 9 is 36. 8 minus 6 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. So we have 2 left over. Nothing else to bring down. 4 is bigger than 2. So that means, does anyone know what this 2 represents? Anyone know what it means? It's our remainder. So we have a remainder of 2. So the way to check this, I still multiply, but am I going to add 2 to this? Am I going to have 1,879 turn into 1,881 times 4? No, I'm not. I'm going to multiply 4 times 1,879 and get that answer, and then I add 2 at the end. All right, let's finish off with one last problem. Number 4 over here. And this one is going to be 649 divided by 3. I'll give you a second to write that down. 649 divided by 3. The very first question we ask, where do I start? I go to the biggest place value, and I ask myself, how many times does 3 go into 6? How many times does 3 go into 6? Twice, evenly. So I write a 2 directly above my 6 to keep my place value in line. 3 times 2 is 6. So I do 6 minus 6 to get 0. So now what? I do 3 into 0. What step did I forget? I have to bring down my next place value. So I bring down my 4. How many times does 3 go into 4? It goes in once. Keep in mind, I'm keeping it all in one straight line. It should follow completely all the way down with your place values. 3 goes in once. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 4 minus 3 is 1. Now what? Do I see how many times 3 goes into 1? No, I bring down my next digit, my next place value, and that is 9. Oh boy, how many times does 3 go into 19? How many times does 3 go into 19? Let's see. What do you guys think? I think it goes in 6 times. Let's try. 3 times 6 is 18 minus 19 minus 18 is 1. All right, 3 into 1, can't do that. Nothing else to bring down. So what does this 1 represent? It's our remainder. And what's the easiest way to check? We multiply. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. So we do 3 times 216 plus our remainder, which is 1, to get 649. So I hope you guys liked this little interactive math lesson. I hope some of you, or all of you, took out a piece of paper and did it along with me. But of course, it's always nice to just listen to have a little refresher. I would like to do more of these, so give me any suggestions if you have any other topics that you want me to cover, or maybe a different setup if this didn't work for you, but please let me know what your suggestions are. We're kind of working with what we have, and I would like to make this as interactive as possible, so it's not just me talking to you, but you can also work with me. So again, I'm open to suggestions. I had fun. I hope you guys had fun too, and everyone's staying healthy and safe. And I will send a couple more videos with other math activities, maybe some multiplication, improper fractions and whatnot. So just send me other suggestions that you guys might have and let me know what you think. Thank you very much, guys.